No, the game absolutely sucks and you should uninstall it right now and never have any fun ever again. Okay, but all jokes aside, Hytale finally came out a few days ago, and I told myself I was not gonna buy it, because originally, from all the trailers and all that stuff, I wasn't like too interested in the game. Mainly because I like more sandboxy games, and Hytale definitely does have its sandbox elements, but it also has a lot of RPG elements, and I feel like it's more focused on progression and like fighting bosses and exploring and all that than it is on the whole building a nice house aspect of the game. And so, because I like the building a nice house aspect of the game more, I was like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna buy this game. And then I bought the game. I bought into the hype so fucking bad, dude. I bought the game like, I don't know, probably like 24 hours after it released. And I gotta say, sports fans, it's pretty fucking good. it kind of does live up to the hype, guys. I don't know what to say. However, even though the game has been growing on me, I still want to make an honest review in this video. I don't want to be too biased towards the game or too biased against the game. I want to genuinely, honestly look at it and go over all of its pros and cons. Because even though it has a lot of fun things going for it, it does have a couple of issues that, could be fixed in the future or improved upon in the future. I'll mostly use Minecraft and Terraria as like little points of comparison for this game because, well, first of all, that's what the game gets mostly compared to, but it's also obviously what the game reminded me of the first time I hopped into it. The whole, all the different RPG aspects of the game kind of reminded me of Terraria, and then obviously the 3D blocky art style kind of reminded me of Minecraft, and I think that that's what the developers of Hytale were going for, because I'm pretty sure there's like a tweet out there of Simon, the main guy behind Hytale, saying that he wanted this game to have like a little bit of a Terraria vibe to it. So because of that, I'm going to be using Minecraft and Terraria as my reference points. So let's start off by talking what the hell is actually Hytale, because surprisingly, I've been seeing a lot of people online whose first time hearing about Hytale was literally when it released. And because of that, I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of a history lesson here. So basically, Hytale is developed by the same group of people that made Hypixel on Minecraft, which is like the most popular Minecraft server of all time. And these people wanted to make like a little, I suppose, fan game, quote unquote, of Minecraft called Hytale, which was basically going to be like Minecraft, but with a different art style, and it was gonna be a lot more focused on progression and RPG elements and boss fights and explorations. There was gonna be like a lot more naturally generated structures and whatnot, and it was gonna have a slightly more in-depth crafting system as well to top it all off. And I'm pretty sure the first trailer for Hytale came out like 7 to 8 years ago or something like that. And shortly after that trailer came out, the game pretty much got cancelled. And as far as I know, after it got cancelled, it got sold to Riot Games, and Riot Games was apparently supposed to make it and develop it after that. But then they kind of gave up on the game as well. And then like many years later, Simon and the team behind Hytale, or Hypixel, finally bought back Hytale. And they worked on it a little bit, and like 2 days ago, they finally came out with the game, and yeah, it's pretty much just what I described, a little alternate version of Minecraft that focuses a lot more on everything except the sandbox elements, I guess. So with all that out of the way, I'm gonna split this video into two parts as a little review. I'm gonna first talk about all the negative things with the game that I think don't quite live up to the hype, and I don't think there's a lot of them to go through, so you're just gonna have to bear with me here. you're gonna have to eat your vegetables before we get to the cake. And the cake in question is all the good parts of the game, which is gonna be the second part of this video that I talk about, where I talk about all the things that I think Hytale did right and, stuck the landing on and lived up to the hype on. So, getting into the negatives of the game, I really don't want to focus on all the bugs that this game has in this video when I'm talking about the negatives, because the game does have a good chunk of bugs, but, the game is also in early access, so all these bugs will be resolved, so I don't really have any purpose in talking about them, because the developers are probably gonna get notified of all of them by the community, and they're gonna fix all of them, so I'm not really too worried about that. And obviously, if you guys play the game and encounter any bugs, then just report it to the developers and they'll probably fix it. But I do want to talk about one specific category of bugs, and that is really terribly game-breaking bugs. Because I don't know how often this really happens in Hytale, but I have heard of a good few instances on Reddit where people have been playing Hytale and then some kind of glitch happens and their game crashes and it completely corrupts or deletes the world or breaks the world that they were playing on and they can't play on it again. So I would suggest that you guys are careful when playing this game, and you probably shouldn't get too attached to your world, at least not in these early days of the game. Honestly, I think if you are the type of person that likes to make forever worlds and gets really attached to their worlds, and this game is probably not for you as of right now, at least. In a couple of months, these bugs will probably get fixed, and then everything will be fine, and you'll be able to create a forever world or a permanent world, and you won't have anything to worry about. But as of right now, I have heard of people's worlds getting corrupted or broken beyond repair. So I'm just putting this out there. Don't get too attached to your worlds if you do decide to buy this game. Now, outside of that, the second minor issue I have with the game is the whole accessory system. So in Minecraft, as you guys might know, the way you create your skin is by molding it and drawing it pixel by pixel, right? Making it entirely customizably yours, so to speak, right? Obviously there are skin presets that you can get out there and download on a bunch of different websites and whatnot. But if you're creating your own skin, the way you do it is by literally drawing on every single pixel, and that skin is uniquely yours, right? Out of a trillion and trillions of combinations of pixels, the skin that you drew is uniquely yours. The way that Hytale skin customization works, though, is that when you log into the game, you will be presented with a little button that says My Avatar. And when you click on it, you'll be able to edit your avatar. And the way that you do that is by putting on accessories that were already pre-made by the developers of Hytale, So there isn't any unique accessories that you can make for yourself unless you make a mod for the game or something like that. Now, my problem doesn't really stem from the fact that you can't make an avatar that's as expressive as a Minecraft avatar. My problem kind of comes from the fact that the developers of Hytale are 100% gonna make a fucking Minecraft Minecoin marketplace where they're gonna put fucking 500 trillion accessories out there for sale, and they're never gonna release any accessories for free. And if you ever want to get any accessories, you're gonna have to go to their store and buy their fucking exclusive currency that's basically Hytale Robux or Hytale Minecoins, and you're gonna have to buy all the different accessories that they're selling for real world money. And I'm 90% sure that that's what's gonna happen with Hytale, because the developers have already been selling accessories for money with the 3 different versions of the game that you can buy. The standard version of the game just comes with all the standard stuff and an early support cape. and that's pretty much it. But if you try to buy like higher tiers of the game, you get like twice as many cosmetics as you get with the standard edition. So if the developers can, sneak in accessories and microtransactions into the game by making like 3 different tiers of pre-orders, then they're probably eventually one day gonna make a fucking Minecraft marketplace type of deal. But honestly, as I mentioned before, it's like a small issue for me. It's not that big of a deal. Like, as long as they keep it like a cosmetic only marketplace where you only buy cosmetics and like all the mods and texture packs and all that stay free, then personally I'm totally chill with that. It's just like a small pet peeve of mine. Another issue with Hytale that I have comes from its sandbox elements. Now, I mentioned before that Hytale is more focused on like RPG and fighting and exploring and going into different structures and defeating bosses and whatnot, but it also has a lot of sandbox elements, and it does put quite a good bit of emphasis on sandbox, like, creating buildings, creating castles, and all that stuff. And it definitely does have a leg up on Minecraft, I guess, when it comes to like the variety of different blocks you can have, because Minecraft is really scared to add like furniture to the game or like carpets to the game or that general kind of decoration stuff to the game, because they're scared that will like impede on the player's creativity, right? But meanwhile, in Hytale, you actually have like roofs, like actual tiled roof blocks, like not just stairs, which is what you use in Minecraft to make roofs. You actually have roofs. And then you have like ropes, you have like small decoration blocks, you have like 50 different types of plant pots. Then you have, what else do you have? You have like windows, like actual wooden frame windows. You have like vertical slabs, the thing that people wanted in Minecraft so bad. You have like rubble, you have all these like little blocks that will never ever exist in Minecraft that you can play around with in Hytale, and I think it's super cool. Now, my problem doesn't really come from the lack of variety, or the lack of like crafting recipes or decorations that the game offers you, or the lack of furniture or whatever. Because as I mentioned before, they have a lot of variety and all that. What bothers me more is the lack of like an actual color palette in this game. Because I don't know how to explain it, but like all of the blocks kind of feel the same when it comes to like their saturation and their color in Hytale. Like in Minecraft, for example, you have like biomes and blocks that range anywhere from being like super bright and happy, like the plains biome and the dyed concrete blocks, they're like neon and like all up in your face with color and saturation, to having like really dingy blocks like deep slate or basalt, or for a biome, except for example, you have the pale garden or like any of the nether biomes, right? And you just have like the whole spectrum of colors and saturations and all those types of things in Minecraft. You have anything from like super bright colors that get up in your face to like super dingy colors that like low-key make you depressed when you play. Now, if you oppose this to Hytale, Hytale is just like, every single block is just like kinda in the middle. Like, it's not like super duper ultra saturated like a fucking Fortnite thumbnail, but it's also not like super dark and dingy like fucking Silent Hill. It's just like kind of in the middle, and I don't know, it's like a little bit boring sometimes. You just have to work with blocks that are always monotone, I mean, I'm sure this is something that will also get worked upon in the future, but I wanted to bring it up because I feel like this is like one of the things that people aren't really going to talk about with the game. Because again, like I said, the game has a big emphasis on its RPG elements and combat elements, and I feel like that's what most people are focusing on, And I feel like there are going to be a lot of people like bringing up issues when it comes to like building and like creating stuff and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to bring that up here, and that's really like I think my biggest problem with the game. And I think that those are really all the negative things I have to say about Hytale. I mean, as I mentioned before, I don't really have a lot of problems with the game, so I think that's really about it. Now, really quickly, before we move into the positive aspects of the game, I do want to talk about a couple of things that I'm kind of just neutral on. And the first thing being is the game's art style. So there have been a lot of like Minecraft inspired games in the past that try to like re-envision what Minecraft should be, and there are other games, especially on the mobile app store, that just straight up try to rip off Minecraft and just, make a one-to-one copy but for free. And I've had my run-ins with both of these types of Minecraft's quote-unquote fan games, I suppose. And the thing that's always irked me about them is that they just have like the ugliest fucking art style for no reason at all. Like, it genuinely, like, you guys remember like those super early like Minecraft texture packs? Like back when texture packs first got like support in the game, and everyone was just like downloading the ugliest fucking grungiest, dingiest, dirtiest fucking texture packs imaginable. Well, that's kind of like the vibe that a lot of these like fan games and Minecraft ripoffs had with like their whole art style. Like a bunch of the Minecraft ripoffs on the App Store that used to exist like way back in the day had like a really fucking ugly and like dingy like art style to them. And even Vintage Story, which isn't a Minecraft ripoff and it's like a reimagined version of Minecraft, even Vintage Story kind of suffers from this. Like, I don't know if it's just me, and I'm sorry if like this offends anyone or anything, but a Vintage Story is just so fucking ugly to me, man. Like, I really don't know how else to explain it. Like, this is like, I don't know, this is a bit of a side tangent, but I just feel like a lot of these like Minecraft fan games and like games that are trying to take inspiration from it just like pick the ugliest possible art style to implement into the game. Now, when it comes to Hytale, one of the main reasons that I originally didn't want to download the game is because I also thought it would have one of those ugly art styles. But after loading up the game, it's actually not that bad, It's unique. It's definitely a unique art style that strays away a little bit from Minecraft, but it's not like a super dark, dingy, like ugly, dirty fucking art style that all these other like Minecraft games have. And I'm really happy about that. And its art style does definitely remind me a little bit of those mobile games that I mentioned before that like tried to rip off Minecraft. But I used to play a lot of those as a kid when I was broke, before I could get Minecraft, so it does bring me a little bit of nostalgia looking at Hytale, but it's not as ugly as those phone games. I actually think that Hytale's art style is like pretty solid, it's pretty good, consistent, it's pretty cohesive, it's nothing like too offensive or anything. The only thing that kind of bothers me a little bit, I suppose, is the spiders in the game. There are two types of giant spiders that I've encountered in the game so far, and I suffer a little bit from arachnophobia. It's not like horrible or anything, like I won't literally jump out of my seat when I see a spider, but I've seen two types of spiders so far, and one of them I can stand, One of them is like a spider that appears on the surface of the world, like in forests and stuff, and it looks like a regular trapdoor spider from, the real world, and I can stand that. But then there's these like fucking cave spiders in the caves that like it just looks so ugly and so disturbing for no reason. They have like tiny little eyes, they're like fully white and naked and look just disgusting. And like if you enter one of their lairs, there's like a million cocoons like scattered all around the place. They're like all pulsating and vibrating, and like it looks like something desperately wants to break out of them, and it just ugh. It's just gross. It's just really fucking gross. I don't know why they had to like over detail the spiders so much, but that's like one of the only issues that I have with the art style. And then the other thing is the avatars in the game. I think the avatars, they're okay. Avatars and skins in the game are like okay. I actually managed to make like a decently good avatar. It's actually like pleasant to look at. But I mean, there's a lot of like faces and like facial expressions in this game that remind me of one of my high school friends. And like I don't know why, but there's like a lot of faces in this game that just look exactly like one of my high school friends, and it like gives me like an uncanny feeling sometimes. But I think both the spider issue and the avatar issue is mostly down to me and my personal preferences, which is why I'm putting it here in the neutral category, even though I have some negative feelings about it. But outside the avatars and the spiders, I actually really do fuck with this game's art style. I think it's pretty damn good. And I think that that's about the only thing that I'm neutral on this game. So finally, moving on to the good aspects of the game, I actually have a lot of good things to say about this game. And I can't wait to finally get into it. So this is the cake part of the video that I was talking about. Dang man, where should I start? I mean, let's start with the weapons first, actually. So, this game doesn't have like a trillion different weapons in it, but it does have a good few varieties you can pick from in your weapons. You can pick like anywhere from light to medium to heavy weapons, which is like pretty basic in a bunch of different video games, but I'm glad that it's an option in this video game as well. My personal favorite weapons as of right now are daggers, because if you charge up their main attack, like every weapon has a light and heavy attack, right? And they have like an ultra ability that you can use, and they also have like a parry ability. The way that the light attack works is that you simply click on your mouse and your weapon attacks, and that's it. The way that the heavy attack works is that you have to hold down your mouse click and then release it when you're like fully charged up. And then the way that your ultimate ability works is that there's a meter that will fill up the more enemies you hit, and when you hit an enemy enough times, or hit multiple enemies enough times, you'll be able to like unleash a super cool, powerful ability that will like deal pretty heavy damage to everything in the vicinity. Now, as I mentioned before, my favorite type of weapon is daggers in this game. Not only because they're super fast, but because if you use their heavy attack, where you hold down your mouse and then release at a certain point, you are actually able to dash around and like, jump from place to place, which is like super useful for building. Like, you can look up into the sky, charge your weapon, unleash it, and it will make you like jump into the air, and like you can like leap on top of your house, for example, which makes it a lot easier to like get back to building a roof, for example, if you like run out of resources, without like the need for like a Minecraft elytra or something, or like without the need of having to build like a monstrous amount of scaffolding in order to like just finish your house. I think they're just a super cool and super good mobility tool, and I hope to see more mobility tools later on in the game's development. But for what we have now, it's pretty awesome. And speaking of weapons, actually, let's talk about wars and armor and that type of progression, because I think the developers of the game did a really good there as well. So the main progression of the game feels more Minecraft-y than anything, right? Like, you just have like a bunch of these different wars that you have to travel to different biomes in order to get, and once you get them, you kind of craft armor out of them. But it also differs from Minecraft a lot, because instead of just having to like dig straight down and then hope that you find your ores anywhere, you actually have to go to certain biomes for most ores. And it's like certain ores, like I think mithril, or like what else is there, like cobalts and that type of stuff, like all these different ores will only generate in certain biomes. There's like only the two starter ores, which are iron and copper, that will generate in just the regular starter area that you spawn in. But yeah, I think this is all pretty cool. And another cool thing that differentiates this crafting system from Minecraft's crafting system is that in Minecraft, when you craft a chest plate, you always craft it the exact same way, no matter which material you're using, except for like netherite. But like, you craft leather armor by a leather chest plate by putting fucking 8 leather pieces into a crafting table, and you craft a iron chestplate by putting 8 iron pieces into a crafting table, and a gold chestplate by putting 8 gold pieces into a crafting table, and a diamond chestplate by putting 8 diamonds in a crafting table, and so on and so on. Every single recipe for every single piece of armor in Minecraft is exactly the same. However, in this game, crafting tools and armor actually requires you to get some other things. Like, for example, if you're wearing iron armor or something, you're gonna need like linen scraps and like that type of stuff. You're gonna need like some scraps. You're gonna need some essence of life or some essence of the void for different types of armor and tools. You're gonna need like fiber, maybe. I don't know, what else would you need? I think you would also need chitin for some armor types, but I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, the point is, you have to explore a little bit more, both on the surface and underground, if you want to upgrade your armor. And I think that's it's not like a super complex system or anything, but it's quite a bit more engaging than what Minecraft has, where you just put 8 of select ore into a crafting table, and bam, you got your chest plate. And speaking of progression, actually, your tools and armor are not the only things you're gonna have to upgrade to get to the end of the game, because your crafting stations actually need upgrades as well. So in this game, there are like a trillion different crafting stations. There's like a woodworking crafting station, there's a furnace, there's a workbench, there's like a furniture crafting station, there's like a farmer crafting station where you craft things for animals. There's a fucking a sun tanning rack or whatever it's called, the tanning rack, where you like stretch out like leather and like skin of animals that you harvested, and you dry it out to get leather of like different types. There's the chef's crafting table where you like cook food and all that stuff. Like if you want to make a complex meal, you have to use that. There's like just a bunch of different crafting tables in the game, and all of them need upgrades, or most of them, I think. I don't know if it's all of them, but the vast majority of them do need upgrades. Like for example, for the furnace, if you want to smelt like higher quality items or like different types of items, you're gonna need to upgrade your furnace by collecting copper and like a couple different types of ores around the world in order to upgrade it. And then, for example, for the armor smith table where you craft your armor, you're also going to need to go around the world and collect a bunch of resources in order to upgrade it. Because if you don't upgrade it, then you won't be able to craft higher tiers of armor. You'll only be able to craft copper and iron armor. And then, what else is there? I think you can also upgrade. Well, what else can you upgrade? I think you can upgrade the chef's table as well, by going around and collecting different resources, just like with the previous 2 tables. And you can unlock more recipes if you upgrade the chef's table and stuff like that. You basically, alongside your armor and tools, you're also going to need to upgrade your workbenches if you want to actually make any progress, because, well, your workbenches are, you know, where you're gonna like craft all your stuff, like your armor and tools and weapons and food and like regeneration items and blah blah blah. So yeah, I think it's a super important part of the game. And actually, another thing that these developers nailed, speaking of all of this, is the exploration element of the game. I did mention that you have to explore in order to get like different ores and all that stuff in the game, but they actually made every biome in the game feel unique. Like every single one has different structures and like different things you can find in it, and different ores and different enemies and all that. And every single biome feels unique, and it feels worth going to. Even if you don't get like something actually useful out of them, it feels worth like just going over there and like just seeing what's up, you know, so you can stay more informed about your world and all that stuff. And as I mentioned, like all the way back at the start of this video, there are like a shit ton of like naturally generated structures around the world. There's like villages, there's like ogre outposts, I think there's mine shafts, there's like abandoned houses, there's temples, there's this and that. And there's just like a bunch of different things to explore around the map. And I think they did a pretty good job, like, you know, just creating like the sense of adventure in the game, if you know what I'm saying. Now, unlike in Minecraft, you don't really have like a GPS compass or anything in this game, but you do have like a little bar at the top of your screen which tells you where you're facing, and it can always lead you to like important like locations around the map, like the temples that you discovered, or the villages that you discovered, or your spawn point, or stuff like that. So it's not too hard to navigate in the game, and it's in my opinion, the ease of navigation is really what's like encourages me to go out and explore a little bit, because the main thing that I normally get worried about in a game like this is that I would get lost and I wouldn't be able to return home. But with this navigation system in the game, I feel like, you know, you can actually like explore around and not like be too scared about you know, losing where your home is or where your spawn point is. And one last thing I'd like to talk about that's good in this game is the enemy system. I'd like to touch on it a little bit before I end the video. So there are a ton of enemies in this game. Most of them are just your regular Joe Schmoes, and then there are a few bosses scattered around the map, like in special structures and all that. And some special structures only have like mini bosses, but they spawn in droves, so if you're not careful, they can definitely slime you out pretty easily. But I think that the enemy design in this game is just pretty good. Like, there are plenty of enemies, even on the surface, you can fight during the day, like wild animals or skeletons that don't burn in the sun, or just things of that nature, pretty much, or like ogres or that type of thing. And I really enjoy enemies and their different unique attack patterns in this game. It's like, I don't know, like, what I'm trying to get at is that when you're playing Minecraft, for example, right, as soon as you get iron armor, you're never gonna struggle against zombies or skeletons or spiders or like literally 95% of the enemies in the game. The only thing that could pose some danger to you is like a creeper exploding on you, like coming up right behind you and exploding on you. That's like the only thing that can really pose any danger to you as soon as you get iron armor. And you get iron armor like fucking 20 minutes into the game, so it's really, you know, it's not really a hard game, right? There's not a lot of combat in Minecraft. But in this game, there are enemies both during the day and the nights. There are enemies in the surface, and there's enemies in the caves. So there's always a decent amount of threat lurking around in the game, and it keeps it kind of exciting, you know? It makes you want to build a shelter. It makes you want to build something, some safe space that you can always go and retrieve to whenever you're feeling like you can't take on the world all at once. And I think that that's a really good thing, you know. It encourages you to actually interact with like the sandbox systems of the game. Because again, in Minecraft, my problem is that when it comes to sandboxing and like building stuff and whatnot, there's a lot of disincentives in Minecraft towards like, you know, actually like building a house and like settling in and like actually building something and making it your own, right? Because in Minecraft you have villages, and when you like, I'm a creative person, right? And I like to build. But when I load up a new Minecraft world, I have like all these grand plans of what I want to do, and then I just end up going into a village and settling into a village, and like nothing can ever hurt me because I already have like 20 pre-built houses, and I already have like an iron golem that will just fucking kill everything in the vicinity that's even like a slight threat to me. And like, I just don't really have like an incentive to build my own house. And then go through the game, and I'm like, you know what? When I get an elytra, I want to get some diamond armor, and when I get some good tools, I'm gonna start building. And then like I like go through the entire game. I beat the Ender Dragon. I get diamonds. I maybe even get netherite. I get fully enchanted. And by the time that I'm done with the progression of the game, I just feel so drained. and I leave the world and I never return, and I never interact with any of the sandbox elements of the game. And that partially comes from the fact that Minecraft progression is just boring, and it's like so soul sucking and draining when you go through it. And by the time that you're done, you just feel like completely drained, and you don't really want to like build anything or invest any time into anything else. And that's kind of like how I feel like when I play Minecraft. Because again, like in Minecraft, there isn't really any like big dangers in the world that can kill you if you don't have a shelter. And even if you do want the shelter, you can just, again, like I said, go to a village, and you immediately have an iron golem and like villagers and like all the best OP loot and enchants and everything. Meanwhile, in Hytale, they're actual enemies. They're lurking around constantly. Again, as I said, during the day, during the nights, in the caves, on the surface, everywhere. There are constantly enemies everywhere. And it actually makes you want to like build a shelter to survive the first night, you know? Like how back in the olden days of Minecraft, every single Let's Play was like about surviving the night, right? Like the day was your time to collect resources and go mining and, you know, get some stone, get some wood, get some building blocks. And then the night was when you would actually build and like try to, you know, spruce up your shelter and, you know, make it nice and try to survive the night. And I feel like Hytale revitalizes that lost aspect of Minecraft a little bit. And I think that that's just super cool. I think it's really great. But yeah, overall, Hytale is a great game. It definitely grew on me. I don't think it's perfect yet or anything, but again, it's going to keep getting updates. It's going to keep being developed. And as long as that keeps happening, I think this game can become truly great. I don't think it's gonna be a Minecraft killer. I think it's gonna like fucking kill Minecraft or anything like many people are saying. It's definitely some healthy competition for Minecraft, and it's absolutely great. That's absolutely great to hear. But I think the game is just gonna grow alongside Minecraft, and that's gonna be like their relationship. I don't think either game is gonna kill the other. But yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say for this video. I suggest you play the game if you haven't already. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. See you later, everyone. Goodbye.